Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 9, Episode 18, DJI Avata 360 Deep Dive. Hope everyone is doing well. Got a great crowd in here already. Let's see who all is here. Joe's here, Steve Janess, Gator Drone, RJ Redding, Alvin Hamilton, Greg Pittman, Art is here, Steve Porter. Let's see who else we got. John Flynn, welcome, John. Dallas SC. Carlos Moran. See who else we got. Michael Wright is here. Let's see. Steve Janess. Super Geo is here. Richard is here. Welcome, everyone. All right. Good crowd on hand. I released another Avata 360 video today, and it's doing real well. It was a little bit of a longer flight, and what I did there, I actually used quick shots, and I thought it worked really well. I did keyframing on them, so take a look at it. I had a lot of fun doing it. And what else I did today, or I did it today, but it's going to come out on Thursday. I did a pure 360 video, and we're going to talk a little bit about that coming up because I had some, I want to bring some things up to let you guys know to kind of keep you like informed as far as that's concerned. But all in all, I cannot tell you how excited I am about this drone. It is just, it's really just, it's been incredible. I really has knocked my socks off. I kid you not. Well, and I'll also tell you this too. Many of you know I have an Avata group out on Facebook. I got 125 requests overnight to join. I mean, it's exploding. People really, this is a drone people are really excited about. So stay tuned. We're gonna have plenty of more content on that because I'm having a lot of fun. I'm gonna be taking it out again this weekend and doing some more shooting, and it's a blast. It really is. I can't say enough about it, but we're going to go over. I want to talk specifically about some video processing with it because I think it'll be helpful to people and to kind of give you guys an understanding of where things are regarding that. We're going to talk about the Lito here in a little bit too, but I know Evelyn pinged us earlier in the week, or she maybe I think she put a post up. They have a holiday over in China, I believe, this week. So there's going to be no commerce transacted during this time. I guess the postal system shut down over there. So just be patient with her, and she'll let us know when she's back online. But I also want to thank Evelyn too. And I don't know, Evelyn, if you're watching, but I want to thank you. She noticed that I have in the description here, I have a link to her Facebook account. And you're welcome, Evelyn. You're doing so much good for the drone community. You really are. You're providing us a valuable service that we really appreciate. And we just thank you for being honest and upfront and straight with us and just a great business person. We thank you so much, and we wish you continued success. And as far as I'm concerned, that's where I'm coming to get everything. So, and I want to emphasize this to guys too. Okay. I've had Avata up a few times right now. Get extra batteries. Okay. I kid you not. Get extra batteries. You really want to do that. That's something I can't say enough about. Ron's going to join us here in a little bit, but I see Art, you have snow up in Denver. Wow. It's May and you're having snow up in Denver. Wow. And the Stanley Cup playoffs are going on. Go figure that. All right. Wow. Okay. All right. First thing we're going to talk about tonight is, there's a lot of casualties going on right now with what's going on with DJI. And, we have a tendency to forget that part of what the casualties are, on the enterprise side of things as well too, but also DJI agricultural drones. DJI agri drones bloom globally. U.S. farmers left behind. At this year's Agri Show 2026, DJI rolled out its latest agriculture drone industry insight report, and the numbers are hard to ignore. More than 600,000 DJI agricultural drones are now deployed across 100 plus countries, operated by over 600,000 trained pilots. In other words, farm drones aren't experimental anymore. They're becoming standard equipment. And DJI says its agri drones have already helped save over 410 million tons of water globally, roughly equivalent to the annual drinking needs of 740 million people. On top of that, they've reduced carbon emissions by 51 million tons, comparable to planting 240 million trees. That kind of impact is why countries like Brazil are leaning in hard. According to DJI's report, drones are now widely used across Brazilian agriculture, from coffee and corn to soybeans and sugarcane. Farmers are using models, and it lists the models, and it goes on there. In the USA, it's a very different story. And we kind of know that. With the rest of the world accelerates, the US, complicated DJI, the dominant player in agricultural drones, is facing ongoing scrutiny in Washington over national security concerns. So, and the article's posted out on Build a Drone Reviewer Facebook group. And, it's really sad here because, you want to speak from another standpoint. We speak from the standpoint of first responders not having access to DJI drones, which I think is a real shame. But also, too, I mean, this impacts all of us here because, what really makes this country run is our farmers, okay, and agriculture. And we need, we have one of the best agriculture systems here in the world, and it produces some, we have great products that are produced from it. But when we don't have access to things like this, now these agricultural drones, these are nothing to sneeze at, because I'll tell you, I did some looking a few years ago, maybe a couple of years ago, and it's incredible what they do. The precision with which they spray their chemicals, and where and how often, and just, and also it's just not chemicals as well. It's also seed planting and other things. And I mean, it's incredible what they do, and how it saves farmers valuable time. And it really, their crops, they have better yields with their crops with this too. But yeah, there's always, there's always, we always need to take care of everybody here in the United States. And I understand that, and one of the things that we do is we need to have obviously food on the table here. And, one of the things people have been complaining about, which with and it's been right, is the rising cost of just about everything, including food, into the grocery store. And, agricultural drones like that really make a difference. And unfortunately, they can probably use the ones that they have in place, I believe, and then when they lose, they're out. There's nobody, I don't think anybody else makes agricultural drones, or if they do, they're very small. So let's kind of stay tuned to that. I think that's a key segment, and I think a lot of people are kind of missing out on that. So yeah. Yeah, KC Crime Fighter, they're flying all over the place here. I had an Amazon delivery a couple of weeks ago. I mean, it was pretty cool to see it. I actually watched it. I filmed it. I should probably put it up as a video. So it's like a 45-second video. And it was here, dropped it off, and boom, it was, and it came out of chute, all right, and the box was padded on both ends. And I mean, it was what? I was getting a thumb drive or something or other, something, that could survive. And it dropped it from, like, I would say maybe about 3 feet up in the air, 4 feet up in the air. It was really kind of harmless, but it worked. I mean, it was a good thing. But I mean, it's loud, it's big. I didn't realize how big it was going to be. It's very big. It's just probably as big as some of those agricultural drones. It was very interesting. But there's a lot of people that live near the Amazon facility near me who aren't real happy because they hear this and it's loud. Okay, you think like the Avata or the Neo 2 or something is loud? Wait till you hear this drone. I have no idea what brand a drone that they fly is, but wow, it's very, very loud, just to say the least. So wow. Okay. All right. Well, that's kind of, I thought it was important to go over that. I wanted to touch base with that. I thought it was something you guys needed to know. You know, there was another interesting article here, and I wanted to touch base with this because I think it's important as well too for people to know. And you know, a lot of people have said, "Here's Ron," and I'm waiting for my click to go here. Let's go here. All right, I'm in the middle. I need to cancel that probably.
Hello, Bill. Hello, everybody out in chat. How are we doing tonight?
How are you, sir?
I like that Florida Panthers shirt, that Red Panthers shirt.
Well, they ended up getting number 9 pick in the lottery, so that's a good pick for them.
Oh, okay.
They do the lottery pick a little different, how they figure it out and everything. So, but yeah, that's what they're doing. I just finished up talking about agricultural drones, how everybody else has access to them and we don't. And, you know, that's another casualty here that we don't talk about a lot, but I think it's important enough because, you know, we all face rising costs when we go to the grocery store. And they say they're more than just spraying pesticides, Ron. They plant crops, they water, they check yield, they check production. I mean, it's incredible what they do. And DJI is one of the few companies in the world that has agricultural drones.
So let's hope the current ones keep working well for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the next article I was about to talk about here, you know, I've had a lot of questions about, you know, other non-drone products and why aren't we getting them here? And drone ban is one thing. Why can't Americans get other DJI gadgets? And that's a good question, and it's a legitimate question. But you need to remember that just because it's not a drone doesn't mean it's not on the covered list. And you know, it's kind of a gray area as far as that's concerned. But one of the things people need to realize is any type of equipment, you know, say like a Pocket 4, for example, or an Osmo Action 6, which aren't drones, all right, they still have communication protocols, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. And if it has Wi-Fi or Bluetooth in it, it's got to be passed by the FCC. It uses the radio spectrum, so it has to get passed by them. And this is one of the things a lot of people don't understand, you know, why I can't, you know, get a Pocket 4, why I can't get, you know, this. And, you know, part of it is, I think a large part is it's a gray area right now. But one of the things that I wanted to get across to people is to have them understand, you know, these have to get approved by the FCC. All right. A lot of people don't know that because they have communication equipment and they use radio spectrum. So that's kind of
the big question people ask, Bill, is why do other Chinese companies such as Insta360, why their camera products and gadgets keep getting approved?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't disagree, Ron. Not at all.
Wouldn't you like to, you know, have one of those Senate commissions they asked the head of the FCC that under oath or whatever?
Well, yeah. Well, and then while they're wearing a DJI mic with a piece of tape on
and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you've seen, you know, several congressmen who have DJI mics on their lapel, and now they're covering it with tape on there. Now I'm like, come on, we know what you're doing. I mean, seriously, what you know? It's
so. Can I fly my DJI drones? I put a piece of tape over DJI's name.
Yeah, that's what yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let me order the Lito drones. I'll just get some tape, and the Lito drones will be fine in the U.S., Bill.
Well, you know, one of the things that I did want to talk about here, and this is actually some good news. Antigravity had a firmware update, and I want to go ahead and go over that because I think it's kind of important that we cover that here. And Antigravity A1 gets major updates with AI editing and voice control. For creators liking to push visual boundaries, there's also new time-lapse mode. It allows users to compress longer flights and dramatic, fast-moving sequences, turning something as simple as a sunset or city skyline into a cinematic moment. At the heart of the update is a clear focus on storytelling. Antigravity's auto edit feature, already designed to turn raw footage into ready-to-share clips, has been upgraded with smarter logic that better understands what users are trying to capture. The result, edits that feel more intentional with improved shot selection, smoother camera movements, and even AI generated sound effects that add a little bit more punch to the video. Um, Safety as always remains a major focus. The A1 now includes an upgraded omnidirectional obstacle avoidance system, combining the full 360 sensing with its existing vision sensors. In practical terms, that means the drone is better equipped to detect and smoothly navigate around obstacles in real time, something that's becoming a baseline expectation in high-end consumer drones. Ron, the more I read about it, the more I'm like, when are you guys coming out with a controller with a screen built in? Because you can sign me up when that happens. I'm thoroughly, and after watching, and after Phil sharing with us at the meetup, his, just looking through his guy, I was like, wow. I mean, it just was incredible. The footage that he got.
I had a little chat online with Garrett Stinkerpot that we met at the meetup.
Yeah.
And we saw him fly the drone, whatever. He said that the update has improved his signal strength in the drone also.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. This is a good update. And Ron, it's impressing me because I know a lot of people said that they were impressed with the build quality of the drone itself and all the components.
We got to hold it, Bill. We got to hold it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
And
it has the same build quality as the DJI mini drone.
Exactly. I did too. And Phil was nice enough to share things with us, and I was like, wow, it really impressed me. And I mean, to me, the only stumbling block for me right now is having that controller with like a built-in screen, or I'd even take a controller with a smartphone at this point, because I've been just really impressed with the more I see, the more I like about this, Ron.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of complaints in the community, especially among new 360 people, like Johnny Drone Flyer sold his Avata 360 already over the editing process. If they can add AI edit that works well to alleviate people that don't want to edit 360 videos, that could be a good selling point, Bill.
Yeah, exactly. And I really like the fact of them using AI here and helping to enhance, the video production part of this as well too. And I'm hopeful, and we're going to talk about this, and I want to spend some time talking about this. I'm going to be talking about processing the footage from the Avata, and I got some points that I want to bring up here in a little bit. But it sounds like Insta360's really kind of taking the lead as far as the software is concerned, and it's making it very easy for you to put videos together.
Which they've had a head start. They've been doing 360 for years.
Right.
What another impressive feature is that 360 obstacle avoidance. So that puts them on par with the Avata 360 now.
Now,
I mean, in the video, they have a promo video showing these updates, and they have like a bubble all around the A1 as it's flying through the scene.
Right. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the Lito, not a lot, but I want to talk a little bit about it tonight. Now, I did ping Evelyn to find out if she had any updates as far as people from the United States buying from her. And from what I understand, I remember she sent out or posted a message on her Facebook account. Apparently, they're on holiday over in China right now, so she's going to be out, not being able to sell things for a few days because the postal system is closed over there right now. But I did ping her to ask her, how many have you been selling to people in the United States? If so, how many? And I didn't receive a response yet. But I know there are people from the United States because I see them posting stuff on my Lito group who've got the drone here and are flying it. And, I'm still going to say, until we hear something, I would just hold off. I mean, there's no cause for alarm. You don't need to push the panic button and buying a Lito. I mean, it's not like we're breaking new technology here. Okay. It's something we already have, just hold your horses as far as that's concerned.
And Bill, before Drone Nation last night, I checked Amazon.com and it was still not for sale on Amazon. So it's been out, but at least 10 days now, whatever. And nobody's selling on Amazon. That's kind of a bad sign, Bill.
Yeah. I don't think, for me right now, until I hear something, one way or another, I'm not even going to think about getting it because I know you can get it. I know it's plentiful, but
eBay, yeah.
There's a lot of questions around it, and DJI could pull, at the drop of a hat, they can flip a switch almost literally and, essentially brick the drone. And, I don't think they're going to do that, but, it could happen if the United States puts pressure on them for some reason or another. So I would say stay tuned to see what goes on here. Because I've been out there looking at things and seeing things, and there's a lot of people all around the country, around the world, except for us, that have the drone, that are using it, and they're enjoying it and they're having a good time. And I understand that. And I get where a lot of you are coming from. Okay. That, while you may have several other drones, you want to add this one. And I understand that. All right. And what I'm saying, and I think what we are saying is still wait and take a wait and see approach as far as this is concerned.
And a somewhat related issue, the Pocket 4, you can find that on Amazon. I saw 2 sellers selling the Pocket 4, but guess what? When you look at the ad, they're showing the Pocket 3. So that makes me skeptical, huh? Yeah, because the Pocket 4 has 2 additional buttons. One of them is a zoom. I don't know what the other does, but they're not on the Pocket 3, so you could clearly see it was a Pocket 3.
Well, I don't know if you saw this, Ron, but DJI Pocket 4 Pro photos leak from China influencer meetup, and there's some pictures of the Pocket 4 Pro right there. It was very interesting what the new images actually show. The leaked close-ups from the creator meetup are the sharpest look at the Pocket 4 Pro's physical design, and the hardware is exactly what earlier leaks described: a vertical dual camera system with a 1-inch main sensor paired with a dedicated 3x optical telephoto lens. I mean, that's a big lens there, Ron. That's really big.
Yeah.
There's a close-up of it right here.
And rumors say that sometime this summer, the Pocket 4 and Pocket 4 Pro will show up as extra muse cameras that you can get on Amazon. So that's the way around. Like the Lito probably won't show up, but at least the cameras can show up under the extra muse name, which doesn't seem to be getting shut down by the FCC.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I think if people are patient, they can probably get their hands on a Pocket 4 Pro or Pocket 4 legitimately. I mean, not to say
just buying off. If you get it as an extra muse branded thing,
exactly. So just be patient.
But before you get off that thought, extra muse even offers a warranty and repairs. So extra muse may be the smarter idea than buying the Pocket 4 off of somebody on eBay, because you get that with no warranty and support. The extra muse products have support.
Exactly. I mean, that's a great way to go. And you have warranty, you have coverage, it gives a peace of mind as far as that's concerned. It really does. Now, what I want to do right now, and
before you get off that subject, though, did you see Canon? Canon, the famous camera company, has been around forever. They're supposedly introducing a pocket camera.
No, I did not see that
in the past couple of days or whatever. Yeah, it looks just like any other pocket camera, but even Canon's jumping in the fray now.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting. Now,
and of course, that'll be able to be sold in the U.S. since Canon products have no problem. Canon is actually a Japanese company, right?
They're Japanese, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But of course, the thing is, those camera companies that are Japanese, a lot of their products are made in China and with Chinese parts. So they don't really get around the China ban either. But, if you're not DJI, they don't look as hard.
Exactly. Now, I want to spend some time on the Avata 360. And what I want to do, I want to take this from a video processing standpoint, okay? And, one of the things that I found out, and first thing I want to do is this. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up, all right? I'm going to share DJI Studio here on my other screen. And I want to walk you guys through several things here as far as the footage is concerned. Now, one of the things that I wanted to do,
by the way, I heard the studio got a firmware update recently.
Yes, it did. I haven't applied it yet, but you're right. It did get a firmware update here. Let's see. I should be sharing here. Okay, now we're sharing. All right. So one of the things, I'm just going to go ahead and open this clip up here. All right. Now, when you're exporting footage, and one of the things that you need to do is, okay, if you're doing a 360 video, you have to do what's called panoramic video here. All right. And then you hit export. All right. And it doesn't, it takes a couple of seconds. So you got to wait for it. All right. And this is what you bring in to your footage, to your Resolve or Final Cut Pro. Okay. So I wanted to show this part right here. This is how you do it. This is all you need to do on Studio for a 360 video. You don't touch it at all. You hit panoramic video and then you export it. All right. And that file's ready to be input into. Let me go ahead and get up. Okay. Now, one of the things that I found, one of the things that I wanted to do, Ron, was I wanted to go ahead, do a 360 video out on YouTube, where you use the cursor and move it around and things.
Yeah.
And I wanted to also add a normal video with this too. All right. So I read through and I asked ChatGPT to help me out, and they did. And I followed their advice. Okay. Now I want to show you, this was a test video that I had set up, and I want to show you what happens, because what I ended up finding out was when you add a 360 video, even if you use different timelines on, Resolve has video 1, video 2, video 3, and so forth. All right. And I use different timelines for that. So my normal video wasn't interacting with the regular video. All right. This is what happens. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Okay. Now you can see right there the curvature. Okay. What happens right there. And what I did was I let this play through. And what ends up happening was what you have to do, what they said you have to do, is crop it down to like 0.35 and center the image in the middle. All right. Which I did. And it still was too big. So I cropped it down, or it was 0.5. So I did it to 0.35. And this is what came out. All right. And then I would start getting into the flying sequences. And what it did was it had everything chopped off and over to the other side. It did not process that. So I really, in essence, what I ended up finding out, Ron, is, and I did a lot of research because I spent about 5 or 6 hours on this. You can't really have normal video with 360 video. Okay. In other words, like I can't have an intro, outro, that kind of thing with this, because it's gonna look like this. It's not gonna work. All right. It's not gonna, because when I'm doing flying sequences and things like that, it's gonna be completely distorted. So the only thing that you can do on there is true 360 video. Now, one of the things that I found out that you have to do is you have to inject it with metadata. That's what it's called, injecting it. And there's a quick utility that I found, and I'm going to drop a link for all this, and I'm going to put this together. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this together in a video, because I think it's interesting enough, and it warrants that on its own. Is you have to inject the metadata into after you finish processing it in Resolve, and you have to use a high frame rate, and I think it's like 3840 by 1920 is the frame rate that you have to use on Resolve. And after that's done, after you process it on DaVinci, before you upload it to YouTube, what you have to do is you have to run it through that injector, and it takes like 10 seconds to do that. And once you do that, boom, it comes out there. Now, and they caution you, they say you won't be able to see the final product until it uploads to YouTube, okay? Because when you try to play it out on DaVinci Resolve, it's not gonna look right, and that's understandable. It's only gonna look right is after you get it out to YouTube. Now, another word of warning on this too: it takes a while to upload these files, all right? Because even though they're short clips, it still took me about 25-30 minutes to try to upload things whenever I was going through my gambit of testing things. So, so this is kind of a word to the wise to everybody as far as that's concerned. So, if you want to do your 360 video, that's fine, but you can't do like a normal video with this. All right. But however, like I did today in the video I released today, was you can do a keyframing video with normal video. That's no problem. All right. It's when you're doing the full on 360 to
Right.
adjust it with your mouse, with your cursor. That's where the problem, what the problem is, it thinks everything out there is 360 video when it's not. And it
Right.
treats it like that no matter what you do. I found that out. So
Yeah.
that's kind of
Yeah.
some word of the wise.
I've never attempted, I've attempted to upload the true 360 video to, say, YouTube, but only in its pure form, like you're talking about, not interjected with any other regular video, just the complete video is all the 360.
Yeah. And because, I thought you can do it. And according to like Chat GPT and Grok, yeah, you can, but they ended up being wrong. You really can't because, while you can get part of the video out there, you let it play, it's not going to look right. It's not going to look right. So I wanted to get this out there because I know a lot of you guys have that question about the 360 video. Now, the other thing is this too. And and what I did was I did another experiment because I actually used the 360 camera twice on this video here. And I did a circle around the clubhouse and I did a circle around the club or the entrance to the development. Now, what happened was I put those videos, I piggybacked them together. And when it went from one video to the next, the second video looked it looked, you saw that view and it was just like an exploded view from the bottom and it didn't look right. So I think I think a couple of things, and I got to run an experiment, Ron, is on DJI Studio. If I want to put those two clips together, I need to process that, probably have both of those clips together on DJI Studio and then export it, because I think just exporting it is not gonna get it done. All right. That's my thoughts as far as asking.
Bill, what if you shot your B-roll with a 360 ground camera and added that to it, but it was all the panoramic video? You shot panoramic drone footage and panoramic ground footage with a ground 360. Could you add those together?
Yeah, I think you can, as long as it's 360. I don't think that's going to be a problem.
It doesn't care if it's from a different 360 camera; it'll work. How you think?
Right. It won't care because for DJI, it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same. So if like you use the Osmo 360 and I use the Avata 360, it's going to be fine. I can do that. So I mean, I spent a lot of trial and error because there was a lot of uploading and then there was a lot of weeping and gnashing of teeth on my part trying to figure out what was going on. But all in all, it was.
Yeah. Bill, highlight Drone Oki's comment. It's already about 10 comments back, but it's a 3-line paragraph. It was 8:35. There you go. He says, export in DJI Studio as a panoramic video, then upload to YouTube. Then YouTube recognizes it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And Drone Oki, yeah. But one of the things that I found out was, for me now in using Resolve, I don't know if it does something with the metadata or what, but I would get that out to YouTube. And for me, I had to add an extra step. I had to inject that metadata in there for it to recognize it as a 360 video. It says, I think what Resolve does, it strips that header out when I process the video to do that. So that's why I went ahead.
It could be a Resolve issue more than anything else. Okay.
Yeah, and it takes 10 seconds to do that. It's a real simple utility. Boom. You pick your file, it does it, it comes back, it says it was successful. I mean, it's a no-brainer as far as that.
Yeah, only time I've ever uploaded a 360 panel video, I just uploaded directly from Insta360 software right to YouTube. No middleman editor.
Right. And I think you would be good with that. So because I didn't try that, but I think the thing is with this, I think it has to go through Studio in order to do it, to say it's a panoramic video. Because I'm learning as we go here, and I want to pass on what I know about some of these things. Now, one of the other things that I can share with you guys is this, and I think this is important too: get extra batteries. I can't emphasize this enough. Okay, my short flight. Now it's a short flight from the clubhouse up to the entrance of the development and back. By the time I was back, I had about 35% battery left. I mean, it goes through battery very, very fast. I mean, and this wasn't probably more than an 8, 9, 10 minute flight. So, I'm telling you right now, when Evelyn gets back to taking orders again, order some extra Avata 360 batteries. You will thank me later for this, okay? Because I went out there that day because I shot everything on one day. I had to use a second battery. All right, I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I had to go out there and do that. Lucky I brought 3 of them with me in case I had to need another one. But it ended up working. But I think people need to have an expectation, Ron, and understand some of these things. I mean, it's not hard. It's not really, extremely difficult to do this. A little time consuming. And once I get the workflow down, I think I'm not really going to have problems with this. The other nice thing about this as well is you can get multiple videos after going out and just shooting one video. All right. Which is real nice. And especially for content creators, because I can go out there. My 360 video is coming out Thursday, so you guys can see that, and it's going to be similar. It's going to be the flight that I posted today. And another thing that really impressed me as well, and I wanted to pass this on, is the quick shots were as seamless as doing it, say, with the Mini 5 Pro or the Air 3S or the Mavic 4 Pro. It didn't skip a beat, Ron. It was right in line. It kept that orbit, did everything like it should, shut down when it should. I mean, it was very, very, very efficient. I really like that.
Bill, does the 360 drone have master shots?
I have to look. I did not see that. Okay. So I was focusing on doing the circle. I grabbed that and I did that. So, but all in all, I mean, this drone is really something that I think is really, really good for me and something I really like. I know a lot of people have said, this isn't a cinematic camera, and I get it and I understand that, but you need to understand something. All right. This is presenting just an incredible perspective and view on things that you won't get otherwise. All right. I think it's incredible. And I think, I had fun after I processed the video today on just the pure 360 one, and I got it out to YouTube. It was a blast. I was going through there, and Valerie's like, "That's really cool." And I said, "Yeah, it's enjoyable, and it's going to lead to a lot of creativity as far as that's concerned."
Little kind of somewhat related tip. We had Tom Dowling on last night. He has the Avata 360, and he's had it for a little while. He has 3 or 4 videos on his channel already, flight videos, and he said to get better video quality, he said with your memory card, use a V60 card rather than V30. The V60, the video turns out better because it has increased bit rate.
Okay. I will definitely mark that down. I did not know. I got to take a look and see what mine are. I can pull mine out right now.
I couldn't tell you what any of my cards are either.
Yeah, I have a V30 is what mine is.
Yeah, so he said he recommended the V60 if you wanted, because you know how people hammer the 360. Whenever you look at a 360 video, always somebody comes in and hammers for its video quality. They say the video quality is terrible, but he said to get better video quality, try a V60.
That's a good tip, and thank you, Tom, for that tip. That's really good. I wasn't able to watch last night.
And look at Alex. Look at Alex's Carter's comment. There's 3 back here. He makes a good point. I think for some folks, it's not necessarily the footage, but the flight experience, just looking around with the head track. Of course, Alex is talking about the goggles, but even just with the controller, with that kind of wide field of view, it still gives you a different flying experience, doesn't it, Bill?
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Controller,
yeah. I mean, and like I said, that's why I'm really anxious for the Antigravity to come out with a controller like for the Avata 360, because that's going to open it up to people like me, and I know Marcus as well too, who are really challenged with goggles. And the other thing with goggles is this: even if I did do goggles, I'd have to have Valerie go with me all the time, because you have to have a spotter there. I mean, you can't go and fly by yourself, literally. And that really, obviously she would do that, but so you got to make time for that kind of a thing. And with just having the controller with a screen built in, it really kind of eases things up. So
look at Richard's comment. 2 comments back from Gary's comment. He says DJI recommends a V30 Lexar, and then Tom's next comment said he dropped frames in the slower card. Otherwise, use the internal storage. Just be mindful of your large files. Now, when DJI recommends a card like the V30, they maybe recommend the minimum you should get.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
mean,
think you're right, Ron.
That may be the minimum requirement is a V30. That doesn't mean that a higher quality card would work any less. That's my feeling, Bill. That's just my opinion.
That's true, and you don't know until you try. And Tom, thank you for that tip. I think I'll go out there and pick one up just to see and compare and see if that works for me.
But Tom,
I'm happy it worked for you.
Yeah, you talk about the internal storage. We talked about this briefly last night. If you want the best quality, just always record to the internal and just make sure you get the video up there right away. So maybe if you could do one day shooting, shoot all in the internal. Now, I mean, I know if you want to fly all three batteries, you have to record the whole time. But for me, anyways, I've dealt with 360 footage off hand cameras, and I know every time I shoot a ton of 360 footage, I don't wind up editing it all. So I'm going to be very careful when I get the Avata 360 on how much I actually have the record button going. I'm not going to record anything that I don't think is going to be, I'm going to actually edit and show whatever. In other words, I'm not going to record a whole bunch of, like when I fly a normal drone, I may record all the footage, just cut like 75% of it away or whatever. I'm not going to do that in the 360 drone. I'm only going to hit record if I know that's the video that's going to go online.
Yeah, and I agree, Ron. I think that's something people will get used to once they get the Avata 360. Is you need to be mindful when you're running that and when you're processing it, because not everybody wants to see some of the parts that are your video. I mean, it's exciting at first to do that, and that's why I'm filming pretty much just about everything. But I think you need to be selective with your subjects and what you're filming. So and understand, like for example, all right, one of the ones that I did was over the fountain, okay, and having some perspective over that, I think is just absolutely fascinating, because you get a top-down perspective, you can see a side perspective on it, you can see a front angled perspective on it, and it's really interesting to take a look at some of that footage. Versus, if you're just looking at traffic or whatever, things are pretty cut and dry kind of a thing. But if you're where there's something going on, and our entrance has a real nice waterfall to it as well. So, I mean, is what I'm talking about. So I think all in all, when you do that, and you're right, you need to kind of, you learn to be selective with what you're shooting. And I think it's good practice for now. Shoot everything, and you'll end up finding, that's not going to be useful footage. You don't need it, that kind of thing. One of the other things that I wanted to pass on as well too was, I think when you're doing keyframes, and that's what came out today, this video, I think as far as timing, as far as keyframes is concerned, and one of the things that I have found out that works well is every 10 seconds or so. Because if you do it sooner than 10 seconds, like if you do it every 5 seconds, it's too soon. And what I mean by too soon is, the camera's going to rotate to whatever position you're in your next segment when you do that keyframe. Well, a lot of times, it ends up being, I think, a little too fast because of that gap. So I tried lengthening the gap with that, and I thought it worked a whole lot better, and I thought it came out very well when I did that, when I lengthened that gap for the keyframe. So that's something else to bear in mind. Also, too, and this is something that Sean from Air Photography taught me, like right off the bat, is when you start keyframing, drop a keyframe right at the beginning of the video. When you do that, when you set your first real keyframe, all right, from where you set your first real keyframe to the beginning of the video, it's gonna be the flight that you took, not what you're changing it to in that first keyframe. Because if you don't put that in there at the beginning, what's going to happen is, as soon as you do that keyframe, the whole video up to that point is gonna have that kind of view. So that's kind of some word to the wise to do that. And thank you, Sean, for that tip.
Yeah.
That was a great tip.
Yep, it is a good one. And then when you put that first keyframe in, even if like if you move the camera around or whatever, it'll still snap back to that original view until you put the second another keyframe in to permanently move the view.
Yeah.
Lance is agreeing with you, Bill. It's very important to first keyframe.
Yeah, and I got to thank, and I definitely, what Sean did when he did his demo with DJI Studio, he used his iPad to do it, which is good. And a lot of it, it's fairly easy to translate it to like DJI Studio on your desktop, which I really didn't have a problem doing. But just to kind of FYI, if you're going out there to watch his video, he's using his iPad to do it. But the controls are the same. It translates well.
Yeah,
It's really not difficult to follow.
And Sean probably has the latest and greatest iPad M5 or whatever. And believe me, that's probably faster than most of the computer you guys are using.
Yeah, it's probably faster than mine, which kind of like I'm thinking probably next year it's probably gonna I'm probably gonna need to get a beefier one to
I mean,
I have an HP Omen.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys use the latest iPads, I mean, the speed on those things, like they'll edit that 8K 60 video and not even blip. They won't be.
Oh, I know, yeah. And see, that's the nice thing.
When people worry about not being able to edit 360 video because the computer's slow, say if you have a modern phone like my iPhone, it'll chew that 8K video up like it's nothing.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. It just there's no problem with that at all. And I think that's something.
See, Tom said drop numerous keyframes to get your capture path, then go back and edit out some for a smoother clip. That sounds like good advice too.
Yeah. That's some good advice, Tom. That really is. And you need to be smart about it. And it's a learning process as far if this is the first time that you're going in there and doing that. Because I had a trial and error because I did one where I did a keyframe every 5 seconds and it was too much. And then I lengthened it to 10 and 10 was about right because a lot of times, say, you're going from a top view to a side view or whatever. It gives that time in that video, gives it time for people who are viewing it time to adjust, and it does it slowly. It's not lightning fast, which is really nice. I mean, you can adjust some of the with settings. You can adjust that, of course. But what I'm saying is, when you space it out like that at 10-second intervals instead of 5 seconds, it seems to work really well. That seems to be enough time to do something like that, which it showed on my video. And I put that out today and I was really pleased with that. I think it did a really good job. And, that's one of the things that I recommend to you guys to do. I mean, trial and error. I mean, take your first video, put it in there and just run it through there several times. See what it ends up what it looks like before you export it and process it in Resolve or Final Cut Pro. Be pleased with it when it's in Studio because, once you get it to, Final Cut Pro or Resolve, you can't really do anything. But when you're in Studio, you can still mess around with it and get it to where you really like it.
Look what Lens Cadena said, and the controller is better for me than using the goggles. You can actually control the drone better.
Yeah, Lance, that's a good point. That's a very good point. And that's something that you need to be mindful of with this when you're shooting the video. Okay, is you need to understand that this isn't a normal camera per se. All right, and you want to have some precise control over where you're flying and understand where you're flying. And what's nice about it is, and what I think is nice about it is your FPV view is a constant. It's like a normal view that you get from any other DJI drone. All right. And I really like that. And it gives you some great perspective. Also, too, having that obstacle avoidance on there really helps a lot. So, if you're in a tight situation or a tight area, if you're flying low, say, and you're around maybe trees or whatever, and want to fly between them, slow things down, turn it down, turn it down. And that way, number one, you're flying at a decent speed. And number two, you're going to be mindful of that camera and the lenses on there because it's different. You bump something like this, you're going to need to replace a lens. That's pretty much going to be a given as far as that's concerned. So,
yeah. And again, with that 360 video, you shouldn't, if you fly reasonably safe. Look at Alex's comment about 8-9 comments back. Alex's card. He says, remember that keyframes distance each other determines how quickly or slowly the views will move. So
that's right, Alex.
If you put a keyframe and then only allow a few seconds to put another one, it'll turn real quick. But if you distance that out, it'll be a slow turn of the drone. So that's a great tip, Alex.
Thank you, Alex. And that's exactly what I found to be the case. The more you distance that out, the slower that's going to go and the better it's going to look. And so, I encourage people, before, you're anxious and you want to get a video out to YouTube, and I get it, spend an afternoon or so out on DJI Studio with some of your footage and have some fun with it. I mean, you can re-download it to your heart's content. And I would encourage doing things like that and playing around with it and getting it to where you like it and you're satisfied with it, because you can do several different clips, go out there and then find the one that you want to put out there and publish, or you could publish them all if you want to do something like that. It's up to you, but take your time.
Bill, we talked about the anti-gravity getting this big firmware update recently. I mean, I look forward to DJI. Sometime this summer they will put out the first major firmware update, and we may get some nice improvements in the Avata 360.
I believe we will, Ron. I believe you're correct. That's going to be wonderful, because I can already see some things, and I'm already thinking of some things that DJI can do to improve this. But out of the gate, I mean, out of the gate, Ron, without like a major firmware update on this, I'm very impressed with what I've been able to do so far with this. Now, and as you said, coming up in a month or two, we're probably going to see some firmware updates, and I think they're going to add more features and more capability to us. And just like I said, the way to really kind of know this and to work with this, okay, flying the drone is pretty much cut and dry, and recording is pretty much cut and dry. Where the rubber meets the road is when you take that footage and you're back at your desk in your desktop and you're processing it and doing things with it. This is where things will, I encourage you to strongly encourage you to play with DJI Studio. It will make a difference. And DJI has some tutorials out there. Watch Sean. Sean does an excellent job with his. I know Kelly Shores did one as well too. He did a good job on there. Watch that as well. But I learned the most from Sean, and he really was patient. He really took his time, and he really walked through things as far as that's concerned, because, this isn't something, it's not like just dumping it in to, DaVinci Resolve or Final Cut Pro and, messing around with cut and paste and boom and done. No, it's not like that. All right. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some effort, but the more time you spend in studio, the better your results are going to be when you put these videos out to YouTube. I guarantee you that.
And if you want to see a more computer-centric editing thing than the iPad, Jevon Dovey had a nice one where he did it all on a computer.
Yeah, exactly. And Jevon was another one as well too that I followed, that he did an excellent job with that. So I mean, it's really kind of intuitive. It really is very easy. If you're comfortable with Final Cut Pro or Resolve or Adobe, DJI Studio will be a piece of cake for you. It will not present a big challenge to you. I mean, yeah, there's a learning curve with anything, but it's simple, it's straightforward, it responds well. I haven't had it hang up on me, which I know a lot of video editors do. When I first downloaded it, it had me update my driver card for my video card for my laptop, which I did. And, it's been running smooth. There's been no issues as far as that's concerned. So all in all,
Bill, before we go, what do you expect Thursday when DJI releases that gadget, that 7-second teaser video that's been around for more than a week? What do you expect to see? And before Bill gives his thoughts, we're not going to have any type of launch party Thursday. It may probably won't be available to us anyways, and it's just a gadget. There's going to be no launch party, but we will talk about it next week on the live shows.
It could be some kind of a remote control. I'm kind of at a loss, Ron, with what
would you really be interested in some sort of a remote control for your drones?
It's possible. I mean, I don't know, what it's going to end up being paired with and what it's going to work with.
Yeah, because like the little selfie drones, like the Neo 2 and whatever, if you want kind of a remote, just get your phone out with the Fly app and yeah, I mean, I know the remote's small, but the phone's not huge. If you could hold that little beacon, you can hold the phone, right?
The other thing that I read and people are speculating is that it's some type of a remote for the Pocket 4.
Okay.
So, which kind of
the Mimo is already, the Mimo app on your iPhone is already your remote for the Pocket 4.
Right. You can do that as well too. It may be just people might want a physical remote instead of a one that you operate from your phone. I don't know. I'm just I'm just saying what things that I've read out there and I've seen out there.
Bill, I know I haven't seen any leaks, so take a wild guess on the pricing of this little remote.
I have no idea.
I mean, if it comes in under $100, I could see some interest in it. But if it comes in like $200 price point or whatever, I think it'll be a hard sell, right?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think something like that it will jump off the shelves. I think people are really going to think twice, and they want to see review videos before they actually go out there and purchase something like that.
Yeah, of course, know exactly what it works with and what it does. I mean, sometimes these little remotes they just do a few basic functions. But if it goes beyond that, then we'll see. It's one of those releases or whatever. I don't think anybody's all fired up about the release, but who knows? I'm not going to prejudge it until I see all the specs, Bill.
Yeah, exactly. Until we see it on Thursday and see what it is, see what it's capable of doing. I mean, because I've just seen rumors and speculation on what people think it is, because there isn't a lot. I mean, when you don't see, like Igor or Jasper have any real videos on it or anything, or even a Cedolev, then it's probably not very significant as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, Bill.
So,
One big question: do you think any way it gets FCC approval in this country?
yeah, see, I don't know what it is. So,
Yeah.
if it's non-drone related, it probably will. I mean, but if it's drone related, who knows? Guess is as good as mine.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll find out. We'll find out come Thursday on that. So,
Yeah.
any final thoughts here before we wrap things up, Ron?
That kind of was the final thought. Thursday, we got a DJI launch, maybe an uninspiring launch, but it is a launch here. Lito, like you said, the Lito drone is kind of still on hold. Pocket 4 is still on hold. The Pocket 4 Pro is not even released overseas yet, but that'll even be on a hold when it comes out. So we're kind of in a hole right now. So I think Bill is wise. Just if you got the Avata 360, kind of just concentrate on that drone for a while, and don't worry about the drones you can't get. Worry about the ones you already have in your hand. Learn to fly them better. Learn all the features. Learn the editing software, as Bill was telling about. And and as you said earlier, Bill, I think the even though it's not a new drone, I think that Antigravity A1, especially if they get the version out that has a standard remote, that may be a drone to keep an eye on, because you can get that in the U.S. You can actually order it straight from the company. It's not even getting stopped at customs. It's coming right on through to you.
Yeah, it's
I think
available
you
at
can get
Best
it
Buy.
best. I think you can get it at your Best Buy. Yeah. So that drone,
Yeah.
everything we say about DJI, forget about that drone. That drone has support. You can, if you have problems, you can send it back, get it repaired. So it's a lot of good things going on over with Antigravity A1, Bill.
Exactly, and that's a good point. Fly what
Thanks,
you got.
RJ.
I
I'm
mean,
glad you enjoyed the show tonight.
yeah, thank you, RJ. Appreciate that, and thank you, Giggles, as well too. Appreciate that as well too.
Yeah.
All you
Thanks,
guys,
DJ.
really appreciate each and every one of you guys. One of the things that I want to say before we wrap things up here, and I want to echo what Ron said. Enjoy what you have right now. You have a Mini 5 Pro, if you have an Air 3S, if you have a Mavic 4 Pro, if you have the Avata 360, use it, enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. I'm having a blast with it. The Neo too. I'm going to be shooting some more video on that. I'm having a real blast with that as well too. Enjoy these. These are some great products that DJI's come out with. We've been blessed with getting a lot out this year and being able to purchase them, even though it's been through eBay or Evelyn. But sure, enjoy that. And we're going to keep you up to date on what's going on with the Lito and the Pocket 4. And we'll let you know, but for right now, just hang tight as far as that's concerned. Enjoy what you have. And, that's what I have to say on that. So I want to thank everybody in the chat. Great chat tonight. Thank you for your great comments. Really appreciate each and every one of you here. As always, guys, remember, it's a great day to fly. Take care. Have a great rest of your week.